Alright, I think I got this thing live. Zor, can you hear me? Perfect. Perfect. I'm just gonna give it a couple more minutes, let people show on up. Rift, occasional chatter, playing Rocket League. Also, my graphics are still scuffed. I will learn one of these days how to fix that. I think Simi no Mas did send me the proper graphic, but it looked confusing, and I have not updated, so we're rolling with the scuffed edition still. Ooh, I've watched a 10 stream streak. 10. That's 450 extra channel points I can use to bet. Oh, look, there's my mouse. Gonna cover one of Smolder's eyes. Now he has an eye patch. Alright, let's get into draft here. Looks like it is Team Bourbon Nasher versus Team Zero IQ. I don't know either of these teams' season records, and I probably should have looked it up before this, but at this point, we're just going to go ahead and get into this. Oh, yeah, I guess IQ is undefeated. I didn't know that, unfortunately, is one of their losses. I think I got Bourbon Nasher coming up pretty soon here. The other Baron Nasher inspired team. But let's get into this. We have Mel opening on the blue side. I guess I should mention bands first. Blue side bands, Olaf, Zinzao. That's Zinzao, right? Yeah, Olaf, Zinzao, Braum. Red side bands, I believe it is right to left, if I remember this interface right. Zillion. Yeah, because then they banned those two in round two. Zillion, Seraphine, Caitlyn. So they're looking to target junglers, and also I believe he plays some Olaf as well, so that's a good flex pick. I think it's pretty strong on the patch. I think they buffed it a couple patches ago. Like the band so far. Blue side opens up with Mel B1. Solid mage pick. Can be flexed multiple roles. Not sure if Bourbon Nasher plays it multiple roles, but it's a solid flex pick. Answered by Jinx Pantheon. Jinx, solid 80 carry, late game hyperscaler. Great team fighter. Pantheon, solid jungler. Could potentially be flex top. Um, Normally, I know in competitive, we've been seeing it in the jungle more often than not. Very solid pick. Great presence with its R being able to affect side lanes in the mid game. Answered by Smolder, looking for a farm lane down bot, and Jarvan. Undefeated and undisputed. I'ma dispute them. I don't know what on, but I'ma still dispute them. Jarvan looking to punish the immobile Jinx. Answered by Melio. Great enchanter to help keep your AD carry safe. The Q can interrupt the flag and drag from Jarvan. Them red side bands, we have Ornn, very solid lane neutralizer, very solid tank. I think probably the best blind tank. currently. I know Scion is also up there. I feel like Scion just has a couple more interesting or not even fully rough matchups because you're still playing Scion, but I think Ornn's the better laner currently. And K'Sante from blue side here. Yeah, you guys can't really see the round 2 bans. It's a K'Sante ban and a Sylas ban from blue side. Ornn and Akali from red side. The Sylas ban kind of tells me, hey, they might be looking at picking up some alts here that are useful for K'Sante. Orianna, good answer to Mel. I don't think it has anything that Mel can reflect with W. And just a solid laner. The only thing to be worried about is they did pick 2 immobile carries into Jarvan. Looks like they are flexing Mel support probably with the Syndra mid. Gragas, good blind pick if you're good at Gragas. You know, he's a great lane neutralizer. I don't think he has really terrible matchups. And Zahen, last pick. I do think Zahen is a great champion. Little bit of a weaker early lane, but as soon as you get to that mid game, Zahen completely power spikes and is great in all those mid late game team fights. And now we'll just get right into the game. Yeah, so they did send Mel support. Mel able to reflect the Jinx Rocket, able to reflect the Massy ability, Melio Q. But looks like should be pretty standard. I think even with Smolder, blue side bot lane should be a little bit more aggressive in the early game here, especially opting into the Ignite. A lot of spam pinging on the red side. Let me zoom out a little bit. Looks like that ward did not quite get cleared. Top side, they got vision of Pantheon. We're not able to drop a ward, but I'm sure they're thinking, hey, Pantheon, good chance he starts red, clears towards bot, and we get into the early trading. Expecting mid lane to be pretty farm heavy. Really, most of the action this game early on should be around the junglers, so I think we'll have a relatively calm early game with both of these junglers being the real make stuff happen for their teams. A little bit of that Q poke. Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn off time controls, so no one paid too close of attention to that. Rihi getting that level 2 advantage, but Tai able to get level 2 shortly after without taking too much of a punish. Has good sustain on that character. Oh, Jinx just ate most of a Q from Mel. Kind of like we're expecting. Things are still mellow here. No major kill lanes. I do notice that Gragas has Ignite over Teleport for being a lane neutralizer. Generally, I think I would expect Teleport, but Ignite's very nice for the Grievous Wounds. A lot of damage coming out from Jinx onto Mel there. Ignite's good for the Grievous Wounds. It'll make it so he doesn't need to build an early Oblivion Orb as long as he fights around the Ignite cooldown. Relatively low cooldown. Pretty easy to do that comfortably in the early game. Level 3 coming out from both sides. Smolder does get hit by the traps. They reflect one auto. Able to get a good trade. Caress on Jinx. Ran out of mana. A lot of good poke coming out from Nestcap on Mel. Able to get the Dark Harvest proc. Rihi does beat Jarvan to the Crab, but he might get collapsed on. Bot lane for blue side does have Prio. Meanwhile, the top lane, Rihi fighting Tai Tai. Smite goes down, and I believe, yep, Jarvan was able to get that first crab. Wave got pushed in, so now they're just going to look to reset. See some pings coming out on where Jarvan is, so they do know where he is. Able to avoid a good gank. He just crosses through mid, going for top scuttle. Looks like Tai Tai was forced to back. Wave state is, looks like pushing, just judging by the minimap. So he'll miss a good chunk of a wave. Sion not quite able to land that QE into Benson. Forced out of lane, does have teleport, probably won't miss too much here, but is forced to teleport early. About equal CS with Benson though, so I'm sure they'll come back with very similar buys. Tai Tai able to finish pushing in. Top lane, Rihi not forced to teleport, so that is very good for his game. All he's trying to do is make it to mid-game comfortably. If he makes it to mid-game comfortably, he will be able to take over side lane and some skirmishing. I think he should have a little bit more pressure than Gragas. That being said, a good Gragas ult can always change a team fight. Or a skirmish. Things still being pretty calm. A little bit of trading in the top lane. They're able to spot out Pantheon, finishing his Raptors and clearing towards bot, so they know where he is. Saw someone get 5 gold. Looks like Tai Tai got himself 5 golds for the ward and Pixel. Okay, good EQ, good trade coming out from Sion on Syndra. Doesn't amount to anything, but it's a good trade nonetheless. Oh, Eric able to get behind Syndra here. Forces the flash out. Benson tries to ult him, but the flash lets Syndra dodge it. Okay, they're re-engaging onto Varenwolf. Varenwolf overstepped, dies to Orianna. Syndra does ult the Pantheon, but Pantheon's able to get out. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, good trade coming out from blue side, getting them under their turret. Not quite forcing the kill. Weren't able to get the heal either. Eric, barely, that had to be the last second of the recall right there. Barely gets the kill on Syndra. Wow. And this is where you are in a little bit of trouble without teleport. You ran out of mana early on Gragas, and the wave is pushing away from you. This is not a great place to be. He goes down looking for plants. He does spot a plant. Rihi thinks that Tai Tai did finish his recall, so he goes just to push in the wave. But Tai Tai is going to come back with plant sustain. A little bit of vision control. Sion's E not quite landing onto the Orianna. Neither of the mid laners have ultimates, so even if it lands, I don't think we're at a kill confirm part. Rihi, I don't think Rihi knows that Jarvan's behind him. We'll see if they're able to make a play topside here. I think they're going to look for it. Oh, Pantheon ult coming towards mid. Orianna, big damage. Pantheon with the flash W, outplay that. There's the Orianna ult, boom, down goes Syndra. And Hernandez teaches, asking for a fist bump. It's a good ult from Pantheon. He was forced to use his flash, but they were able to get the kill onto Syndra, and the kill went to the mid laner, which is nice. How handsome is Rihi? I'm not allowed to say my answer until I hear your answer, Muffin Man. Okay, trade in the bot lane happening. Hernandez teaches, asking for a fist bump in the middle of the trade. Looks like Orianna able to get a ward onto Jarvan's Raptor camp while this is happening. Rihi does teleport up top lane. Looks like both teams are kind of setting up for this Dragon Pit fight. Jarvan does EQ over it. I think he's starting it right now. Smolder and Syndra both coming over. Eric is not spotted out on a ward, and he's watching them, channeling his reset. I think they're deciding if they contest. Jinx Rocket not quite able to steal it. Ooh, great reflect by Mel there, forcing out the Melio flash. Looks like Hernandez or Rihi is a certified 10. Oh, great combo from Syndra and Jarvan. Able to land on this Orianna. Double kill for the Syndra. Stun into Jarvan combo. Absolutely perfectly played by blue side there. Meanwhile, Caress just getting poked under turret. And the top side, fight's going a little long. You got to look to disengage there. Now that he has about half his stacks. A lot of good poke coming out from Umbreon and Nestcap. There's a Jarvan ult coming down bot lane. Down goes Mel. Great Pantheon ult. The bot lane of BN was pushing IQ under turret, getting a lot of good poke, and Pantheon just came out of nowhere and said, hey, stop that. That's my bot lane. Oh, good ult from Gragas. Does push him into the turret. Rihi trying to make a play happen. Gragas able to flash out of the ultimate. Had the ignite on him, so a lot of that self-heal was gone. Rihi barely able to proc that passive. Does respawn full stacks. Able to live. That last spell gave it to him. No flashes up top lane anymore, and we're just going to say Smolder got the cannon, I believe. A lot of good poke coming out from Smolder. Oh, two people are behind Smolder. I don't think he gets out of this. He does try to flash, but point and click W, dodge that. Gets hit by the rocket, gets hit by Pantheon Q. R.I.P. Smolder. Meanwhile, Mel trying to make it back to lane is able to make it, able to nullify a lot of that damage with W shield. And walks right through him. Oh, Pantheon flashes to dodge the Mel route. Able to W the Mel. W into the slow from Jinx meant that Mel was going nowhere. Rihi thinking about going forward, but he does see Jarvan on the ward that Jarvan was clearing, so he decides, hey, maybe let's not go forward here. They do have Melio in the top side right now. Pantheon up there at top lane with Zahen, but Gragas able to just E the Zahen and walk it out. Emilio crossing through mid, headed down towards bot, stop the tower dive, help his Jinx catch this wave under turret, but Mel is looking to get in position, potentially to cut off Emilio, if not to poke Jinx under turret. Jinx is able to get the wave, only takes a little bit of damage while doing it. And here's the next trap set up. Cross able to sniff it out, does not commit to walking forward. Here's the Pantheon all right on the Smolder's head, and down he goes. Looks like they are looking to catch out the Mel here. Benson from mid lane, able to kill Mel. Does get stunned by Syndra, but nothing else happens. They're all able to walk it out on the side of IQ. This is a great start for Team Zero IQ. Can we add a 0 to their team initials? Like 0 can be an initial in this case, right? Oh, Rihi able to E, so the Gragas cast doesn't push him forward, pushes him right into the wall next to him, able to live. Syndra was roaming topside there. They aren't able to get anything on Zahen, and in the meantime, Team Zero IQ able to secure Dragon, and Hernandez teaches, throws up the fist bump. Oh, look at that 30% max HP shield. Just walking at the Gragas. Gragas procs his phase rush, but he was knocked up for a duration, so he isn't able to use it to fully disengage, and Rihi drops his ult right on Gragas' head. Down he goes. Pantheon coming down bot. Jarvan's there too. Looks like Jarvan goes forward onto the Pantheon, but that's a lot of damage coming from Jinx. They are cornering the Mel here. Mel, you might be an arcane, but you're going down. Meanwhile, Jinx gets caught out by the Jarvan ult. Oh, they're able to take down Pantheon as Pantheon's trying to fight for the Smolder there. Smolder gets away. Looks like Hernandez teaches in the middle of dying, throws up the fist bump, lets the team know, hey, we're in this as a team. If you two go down, I'm joining. Here, fist bump. Great counter gank by Jarvan, already being in that bush, knowing exactly where Pantheon was planning on going. That's a great comeback play for Team B, and they're only down 500 gold now. Meanwhile, on the top side, while that fight was going down bot lane, Rihi was able to get the turret there. I'm sure he has a good chunk of the 300. It's only 300 gold lead, but I'm sure he has a good chunk of gold on the enemy laner. Looking at the fact that he does have Triforce completed, pretty expensive item, along with boots too. I'll do a quick gold check here. Yeah, big gold lead on top lane, about 1.4k. 300 gold lead. Oh, Pantheon catching up the Jarvan. Jarvan able to EQ to safety. Sion on Syndra QE's the Pantheon, but not much happens from it. Meanwhile, Rihi deciding to opt into this 1v2. He knew Jarvan was in the area, and he said, hey, I'm taking a trade on Gragas right here, right now. Jarvan's in the area, but so is Pantheon. And the next trap set up in the blue side jungle. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Umbreon on Smolder trying to kill the Jinx. Jinx barely survives it. Mom got called down and everything, but not quite enough to take them down. Looks like the top side jungle for blue team is going down. Oh! Great QE. Down goes both the mid laners. Now it's a jungler fight, but Rihi's there to keep numbers on IQ's side. They're able to take down the Jarvan, who tried escaping, but Rihi had his ult, followed him over the wall, gave vision so Pantheon could follow over the wall as well. Ty there to clean up the minions. Alright, Rihi, lying in wait. Trying to catch Tai Tai on his way to top lane. Does space out the Gragasy. Putting that on a longer cooldown since it didn't actually connect to champion. But he's able to make it back to his wave comfortably. Oh, looks like there was a pause at some point in the game and a lot of all chatting during the pause. Something about Twitter. Looks like Benson might be walking face forward into a trap. Jarvan is there when Benson goes and clears the ward. EQ's on to Benson, and Syndra's there for the follow-up. Gets the kill. Great place for your kill to go. Late game Syndra does a lot of damage. Tai Tai just playing the bushes, being as safe as he can while into Rihi right here, just trying to neutralize, stop the push, make sure he doesn't get too much on side. Meanwhile, Team BN is looking to start drag. Rihi does have teleport. I wonder if he'll make it there in time. They do spot them doing dragon. One teleport coming in, two teleports coming in. Orianna lands on J4. Rocket also hits J4. Team BN does secure Dragon, but teamfight breaks out. Eric goes down to Smolder, but they are able to get Mel in return. Syndra also goes down. Now Rihi on part of the backline, but also being held back by Gragas. Just peeling for his Smolder. Well done. Wait, that's a cool Gragas recall. I don't know where the money comes from, but that's cool. Looks like Rihi going top to push this in. See if he can make them miss anything. Jarvan is in the area. Curious if they're going to try to make a play on Rihi or if Rihi's going to be able to clear the wave and get out safely. They have 3 in the top side. Rihi's still moving forward. Does back off appropriately. I think he can smell the other players nearby. Sion looking to push forward a little bit. Doesn't know there's a Pantheon right behind him. They have zero idea where Pantheon is. Pantheon waiting in Tribush, seeing if someone will come back into him. Looks like they're going to try to push the Syndra that way with Orianna. Jarvan's also walking that way. We do have a 2v2 situation here, but Orianna and Pantheon able to get there earlier and just burst the Syndra before it becomes a real 2v2. Tai Tai trying to knock Rihi into the turret. Not quite able to do that. Oh, I should turn on objective timers. Looks like we have drag spawning in 2.5 minutes. Hey, shoot or shoot, Tai Tai, shoot or shoot. Believe me, I shot very low percentage this week at basketball, but next week I'm going to keep shooting just as hard. Smolder coming in. Looks like they're trying to surprise the Syndra, or the Jinx. That's a lot of damage coming from Smolder. Jarvan able to secure the kill onto Caress. I pass a lot too, but if I get an open shot, I'm going to go for it. And I was cold last weekend, but that doesn't mean I'll be cold next weekend. I don't know why we're flaming the Timberwolves in the chat. That's rude. Looks like BN is able to crack mid tier 1. It's a weird little E interaction there on Gragas, but Gragas E beats everything, so I'm not surprised to see it. Not quite able to knock the Zahen back into him where his team was waiting. Is able to wave clear with EQ. Gragas wave clear is so fun. We do have drag here in 50 seconds. It would be second drag for Team Zero IQ, third drag for Team BN, so we will see what all happens. A little bit of red side playing some vision control here. They don't know there's a ward in the bush to the lane, in the long bush to the lane, but they have vision control everywhere else. San able to drop a ward in Pixel, does clear out the enemy ward in Pixel. Pantheon ult coming down onto Syndra, shoots a little bit far, does get EQ'd away after he tries flashing forward, but in the meantime Benson blast coned in and dropped his ult right on Syndra's head. Rihi looking for a little bit of engage, but it gets turned back, and down goes Caress. Rihi getting the ult on no one, and Emilio going down to Mel Gragas there. Pantheon is able to pick up the Mel. Yeah, unfortunately, everyone flashed away from Rihi's ult. And it is now a 3v3. Rihi is half health roughly. I'm sure he has his passive, but he needs to stack it in order to get the revive. Looks like Team Bourbon Nash are able to push Team Zero IQ out of Drag Pit, but Eric gets onto Jarvan, almost takes him down. Does get taken down by Syndra, but he was able to keep the Smolder busy long enough where between him, Benson, and Rihi, they were able to kill him. Rihi also able to kill the Gragas. Jinx ult goes one way, goes back the other way. Oh, Rihi landing his ult that time. Gets a double kill under turrets. I believe Dragon or Baron are going over to Team Zero IQ. Yeah, no, this Pantheon's been dropping a lot of ults on your head. He's been making your time in the side lane real rough there, Sion. But when they leave you alone, you're able to do a lot of damage, so I don't blame him for dropping his ult right on you. Looks like Team Zero IQ does go for Baron. Makes sense. Dragon isn't soul for them. It might give Team Bourbon Nasher the opportunity to get drag, and if they get drag, then they will be on soul point. So that does put the game a little bit on the clock, but Eric and Benson are down there to contest. It is a 2v4 situation. Eric able to nullify a lot of damage with his E. Does secure the dragon. Does go down. Shutdown goes to Smolder, but they're able to pick up the second drag there. They have Baron, but Team Bourbon Nashers, who are friends with Baron, I've heard, do have numbers, so it's going to be hard to push here until Eric's back up. I think they're still going to be under their turret. Once Eric's back up, it will be a different story, especially since he does have Pantheon ult to get somewhere on the map quickly. Might not be needed. Yeah, Team Bourbon Nasher just falls back, says, hey, you know, we got a nice shutdown. We got their bottom side jungle. Let's all back off. We've wasted a decent amount of their Baron time. Back off, reset, get some items. We have 3 items Smolder. 2.5 item Jinx. Smolder is doing big damage at this point. Top lane we have 2.5 item Zahen versus 2 item Gragas. In the jungle, 3 item Pantheon versus 3 item Jarvan. Frozen Heart is 1 cheap item. Mid lane, 3 items versus 3 items, pretty even there. This game's looking real close right now. 2 dragons apiece. About a 2k gold lead. I think the key for Team Bourbon Nashor is keeping Zahen off of the Smolder and trying to keep Syndra alive from Pantheon, who, as stated in chat, Pantheon's really been making the Syndra's life hard this game. Well, it looks like they're choosing to opt into the 4v4 here in mid lane. Sion goes down. I didn't see where all that damage came from, but looking at the fact that most of it was Orianna there, I'm assuming that was a well-placed Orianna ult. Able to counter the engage there by Jarvan. Now they have 2,800 damage Ori combo. Yeah, I believe it. I looked at Jarvan for half a second, looked back, and you're dead. But overall, Bourbon Nashor does a good job of repelling the Baron push. Jarvan back in mid lane. Not much happening right now. Everyone's kind of resetting. We have a 4k gold lead. So that 2k gold lead, they were able to get another 2k there off that Baron push. So that will help coming into next drag. But we are at the point in the game where, money's important. Item power spikes are important, but the later you get into the game, the less the gold difference is going to matter as soon as it starts closing on the carries, that is. Smolder, 3k gold lead on Jinx. Zahen, 4k gold lead on Gragas. Looks like 2k gold lead on Pantheon. 2k gold lead on Orianna. Just a 300 gold lead on Mel. Bot side of Bourbon Nashor, very strong right now. We'll see if they're able to hold off Zahen, who might be face trekking into them. Doesn't get hit by the stun or the root, actually. Able to ult. Meanwhile, Smolder getting absolutely bullied by Pantheon. Does go down to the Pantheon. They weren't able to keep Smolder safe. Mel went down. Jarvan went down. Pantheon ult comes looking for Sion. Sion able to get away from the Pantheon. Is going to get chased down by Zahen, though. Rest of the team turns on to drag. Takes a couple turret shots. Probably going for an execute here. Rihi does get the movement speed. Spaces out the E. Gets the XP for the kill, but doesn't get kill credit. Sion able to get the execute off. Meanwhile, they went from drag. They got turret as well. Baron's about to spawn. Things are looking good. That team fight gave them another 2k gold lead there. So now they are up to 6k gold lead total. Slowly building up on that gold. Jinx. 3 items. Sitting on 1,200. Not quite enough for 4. but is scaling up into a late game problem. Tai barely out of range with Gragas. Emilio able to get out. I think if Gragas ate a couple more burgers, his belly would have reached Emilio there. Now Rihi splitting opposite of Baron. He does have teleport available. Being answered by Sion on Syndra. Also has teleport available. Gragas playing top side of the map. Benson answering him in the top side of the map on Orianna. Neither, I guess Tai does have teleport. Benson's teleport's currently down. Benson is playing around mid lane here with the team, trying to look for a 4v3 fight before the Gragas could rotate over. Alright, they do establish mid push here before Baron. Meanwhile, Nuzcap goes, clears a ward at Baron. Oh, Flash W from Pantheon, able to get onto the Smolder. Does get comboed by the Jarvan, but Smolder was trapped in the Jarvan ult as well. Orianna ult just beautifully hits Jarvan and Smolder in there. They're able to take down Jinx, but Syndra goes down to Pantheon, who now ults in and gets rooted by Mel. Rihi from below. They both turn on to Mel. Down goes Mel. And this looks like it will be game. We'll see if Gragas is able to hold for 15 seconds. But he has no ult for the minions, so I believe they're just going to eat the turrets. Looking to eat the Gragas as well. Gragas does go golden. Able to flash out. Not able to save his KDA though. And down goes Gragas. Down goes the Nexus. IQ takes game 1. Well, a little bit of a spoiler there. I can't get to my OBS without spoiling a little bit, so yeah. I guess I do want to show damage charts and all that for those people interested. Do this. Y'all get to see my desktop background as well. Very clean other than some games. Gold. Slow gold lead. But constantly pushing it. Damage to champions there. Pantheon able to get on the back line a lot there. Same with Zahen. Both of them were able to make Smolder and Syndra's position in the fights very hard to play. And yeah, we will get into game 2 draft. I've got to change team name sides. IQ went with blue side for game 2. They're still at 0. Oh wait, no, they're at 1. And we are on game 2 draft. Again, scuffed. I'll fix this eventually, TM. But blue side, they do opt into B1 Aatrox. Not sure if that's jungle, not sure if that's top. Good flex pick currently. Answered by Morgana Kog'Maw saying, hey, we're going to lay down what looks to be the bot lane. But Kog'Maw can be flexed mid lane, and looking at the later draft picks, I'm assuming that's what they did. Yeah, I have that all fixed. So Morgana Kog'Maw showing what appears to be their bot lane. Answered by Seraphine and a Zoe pick. Not sure if they knew it was Kog'Maw mid or if they just really wanted to play a game of Zoe. Could be one or the other. Or an answer decent into Aatrox. You know, very solid tank. Better into Aatrox than Sion is at the very least. Good blind pick if it's Aatrox jungle. Overall safe pick for B or R3. I forgot to mention if the bans changed, but I think 1, 2, 3 stayed the same between the games. Red side then banning 2 80 carries, and 2 more 80 carries banned out by blue side. So I think that they knew Kog'Maw was a mid laner at this point. There are a lot of 80 carry bans. There is no Smolder from last game, no Jinx from last game, no Caitlyn, no Ezreal, no Jhin, no Aphelios, no Zeri this game. Bourbon Nashor deciding, hey, let's go Xayah. Answered by, and then blue side decides to pick up Sion Vayne. Red side decides to go, hey, let's Wukong last pick. Just looking at this right now, we'll probably have tank matchup top lane. 2 bruises in the jungle. Cog mid versus Zoe. I think Kog'Maw gets the push. But in terms of rotating aside, I think Zoe's a little bit more threatening. I don't know exactly how that mid or jungle matchup goes. I think in a 1v1, it's Wukong favored early, since he's able to kind of get inside of Aatrox's Q ranges. So he's able to avoid most of the big Q damage here. Top lane is favored towards Sion. He is good into Ornn, but in reality, it's 2 grass champions deciding to trade grass procs on each other. Love to see it. Bot lane, Morgana Xayah versus Seraphine Vayne. I have zero idea how that goes, but if Vayne's able to scale up till late, she's going to be a big damage threat onto the Ornn and potentially able to condemn the Wukong out of his engage. Yeah, we'll see how things go. Just changing scenes. Alright, and here we are. If we win this game with me, Cog mid, can I be player of the week from Sion? I can't answer that. I have zero say. I can't even change the title of the stream, so I'm happy someone did it for me before I went live today. I have negative power here. I just have a voice. Nothing unusual here in the runes. A lot of dancing going on in top lane. Love to see it. Love to see the camaraderie between 2 tank players. Let's go. Huh, 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 huh. Love that Ornn dance. Great skin. Great skins from both of them, honestly. I'm a little surprised Ornn didn't try to do the refill trick against Sion. Sion's not the most aggressive level 1 laner. Can't fully punish you, but decides to play it safe and just go D-shield pot. This is Singular Bread. This is a mixed rank league. You have zero idea what the ranks are of most of the players in this game. Great Q from Morgana landing onto Vayne there. Looks like they're able to go for the punish. Gets the barrier, gets the heal from bot side, gets the flash as well, but Vayne goes down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Benson able to get the solo kill onto Smolder. And then top lane, Both tanks get a grass proc. Zoe does hurt. Does hurt early and has Ignite. Able to just consistently buffer the Scion Q. Benson able to get a sleep onto the Wukong to survive the gank. Tai Rihi in each other's faces. There's Rihi. Tai flashes the Q but goes down. Rihi using his flash to get in the bush, make sure that the next auto attack from Ornn had zero chance of landing. Does take down Tai. Able to crash the wave. Maybe? Yep, able to crash the wave. Gets the Scion TP. A lot of flashes burned early this game. A little different from last game. But I love to see it. Love to see the action. Rihi does pick up the Bomby Cinder. Chat knows what to spam. Looks like a fight's gonna break out over red side, bottom side jungle. Eric is looking to invade. Morgana and Wukong are both on the Gromp. Zaya's there, ready to answer as well. Hernandez teaches on Seraphine, rotates over. Eric gets hit by the binding, but they do force out the Morgana flash. Hernandez teaches running low on mana, so I think they're just gonna walk it out from here. Nanya, I'm gonna be honest, I disagree. I don't like even the bombies. Eric does get blue buff. Able to smite it, even with the action looking like it was going red side direction. Looks like Rihi is able to get a demolish proc on the turret. Does get traded into. Tai is out of mana. We'll see if his next grasp auto comes up before Rihi's W does. I don't think it does anymore. Yep, there's the W. There's the slow. Spaces out the Ornn. Gets hit by another auto attack, but his shield was up, so it didn't really matter. Eric here to collect the kill. Tai goes down. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Caress does Q forward, dodges the Morgana Q. Yeah, there is a Bramble Rush on Ornn, and I'm curious why there's a Bramble Rush. I know that he wants anti-heal for the Aatrox, but you can't build for the Aatrox at this point in the game. But I could see it coming into play later on in the game. Bramble Vest is a weird item, though, because unless they're autoing you, it doesn't actually apply the Grievous Wound, so I'm not the biggest fan of it. Chat is asking Tai to explain. Tai, I recommend pleading the fifth. You don't need to say anything without a lawyer present. Umbreon looks like he gets punished a little bit by Seraphine there. But Wukong and Morgana are both walking up towards IQ's bot lane. It looks like they landed a Q on Seraphine, but not quite able to fully punish. Eric is there, but Sion was able to rotate down earlier. That being said, everyone just kind of walks away. Great bubble by Zoe. Is this a kill? No, not a kill. Something you always have to ask yourself when Zoe lands a bubble. Bomby does let turret aggro get applied onto Sion very quick. Looks like Rihi goes under turret, thinking he can get out in time, but he just goes down to the Ornn CC. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Wukong trying to engage onto Zoe. Takes a lot of damage. They do get Eric's flash, but Wukong also flashed. So both junglers used flash. Only one jungler died there. Great root by Umbreon. Great feather angle positioning. Feather drops. Oh, bubble lands onto the Xayah. Is Xayah going to be able to live? Xayah gets condemned into the wall, gets stunned by the Seraphine, goes down. Great CC layering off of that bubble. Meanwhile, Sion. Okay, might need to use champion names for this game because we got Sion and Sion. TP's down bot lane, trying to make a play happen, does flash forward. Not quite able to kill Eric. Is able to kill Seraphine. Uses the true damage. Does a lot of damage to Vayne, but not enough to kill. Skyon. S-Coin. S-Coin. Okay, I can do S-Coin. I can do S-Coin. S-Coin and Sion. Let's get it. Tai calling out the Sunfire while he has a Bramble Vest in his inventory. I love to see it. So, Rihi is apologizing to Slamurai. I don't know if that apology is going to be accepted. Slamurai, if you're here, do you accept Rihi's apology? Because that right there, that build path, is going into Sunfire. Meanwhile, red side able to secure the grubs. I don't really know how much the grubs are going to help this game. I mean, they're never bad to get. Yeah, Protoplasm into Zeke's. Great build. Zeke's is honestly such a good item. I've been watching some Renekton players, and they're starting to pick up Zeke's. I gotta see what the hype is, because it just seems like a very solid, cheap item for champs that like pressing R. Protoplasm, also good rush right now. I know that they designed it to be a scaling item. They did buff it, so the base heal is good enough to build first, plus it gives good stats with CDR. In the bot lane, Nestcap engaging with Morgana ult does blow Vayne flash, but Vayne still not able to get out of the tether. Wukong able to follow up right onto the Vayne. Down goes Vayne. Meanwhile, Benson gets a kill onto Morgana. They're able to get resets onto Aatrox here. Umbreon, level 100, able to pull his feathers back and survive. It's a lot of damage coming out from Kog'Maw here. Gets the shutdown onto Zoe. Gets the shutdown on Aatrox as well. Looking to clean up Hernandez teaches. Boom, down he goes. Just go Bandleglass. See, I get it, but Zeke's I think is the better solo lane item. Gives similar stats, also gives ult ability haste, plus the slow when you press R is low-key useful for sticking on people. Ornn is currently building Protoplasm, I think. Those two health items go into Protoplasm. He is not finishing his Thornmail, which is the right move. Looks like the Q is able to land onto Seraphine. But Seraphine in complete safety. Nothing happens to it. They try to bait the bubble onto Morgana. That's a lot of damage through the black shield. Try to bait the bubble onto Morgana, but Morgana able to dodge it. I think she's able to black shield it even if she gets hit by it. I'm not 100% sure on that interaction, but it feels right. Meanwhile, Ornn clears the wave under turret, and Rihi takes one turret shot that I'm sure he won't notice. Well, looks like the condemn onto Umbreon. Black Shield saves him from the Seraphine stun. Nestcap able to get the ult onto Vayne. Bad positioning there. Vayne just stuck between Morgana ult and Umbreon pelting him with feathers. Oh, bubble lands onto Kog'Maw. We'll see if Eric and Benson are able to make something happen. No, Varen Wolf is here. It turns right onto Eric 29, forces him off, forces the Aatrox flash. And now we're making a play for drag. Bubble lands onto Morgana, but Morgana's teammates are there to prevent the paddle, the Zoe Q from following up. Paddle Star. Ah, it was paddle something, okay. I just know it hurts like a paddle. Meanwhile, in the top lane, he does have 4 plates. Ornn has 0 currently. That is kind of how this matchup goes. Sion spacing is normally able to beat Ornn at this point in the game. Ornn has a little bit more instant and non-committal CC, which is nice for team fighting. But here in lane, those E's just slow you so that you're stuck in the Sion Q range, and even if you buffer it, you take the damage. And it hurts over time. Rihi does E forward onto his pillar, or Tai does E forward, hits his pillar. Rihi not quite under turret, so does not take too much punishment from it, but Tai is able to clear the wave without losing his tower. Does get TP off top to continue this brawl of absolute titans in the top lane. Meanwhile, Benson lands a bubble onto S-Coin. Electrocute proc kills S-Coin. Varen Wolf tries to get onto Benson. Benson got a little bit of movement speed there, able to get away from the Wukong ult. Able to land a bubble as well onto Wukong, and down goes Wukong to Paddlestar. Seraphine ult barely going off of Aatrox and landing onto Morgana, but it does follow up beautifully. And Aatrox is able to kill Morgana there as well. Tai saying, hey, I don't want to lane with you anymore. I want to... I want to proxy. You know what? Great decision. He will slowly chip you down in lane, but if you can get the proxy off, and their jungler is in topside to punish you, you can't get that last plate. Benson looking to catch S-Coin on his way back to mid lane. Does get E'd by S-Coin, and Morgana's there. Uses his fake flash for fun. I'm assuming it was timing out. Meanwhile, Wukong tries to start up Rift Herald, but Sion the champion is there to answer. Push him off of it. Kog'Maw is coming up there, but Eric and Rihi are in position, so they're able to finish off the Rift Herald without too much punishment. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Hernandez teaches still going for fist bumps, still getting pushed under turret. Morgana able to stop the Seraphine slow from coming out. Umbreon's root not quite landing on anyone. Does get Sunflowers through, but nothing too punishing. Meanwhile, they kill Morgana. Or they killed Morgana there just through auto-attacking and fighting back. Umbreon now under turret. Does have his ult. Does get condemned. But no real follow-up from that. Hernandez teaches was clearing a ward. Varen Wolf going over the wall with his clone, landing his ult onto Benson, dodging the bubble. Lands his second ult onto Eric. Looks like S-Coin and Varen Wolf are trying to take down the Aatrox. Sion's coming down, but they are able to get the Aatrox, who went further into Wukong's jungle there, and not able to make it out. Lands his Bertolotto before Rihi's able to finish his Q, but that just puts the Q on that 2-second mini timer. So he gets the second Q off. He's able to clear the wave. Does have TP up, probably looking to reset, just TP back to lane. I forgot to turn objective timers on for this game. And when I went to do that, Vayne was forced to flash. Looks like Bramble proccing turret aggro onto Tai. He gets the reverse treatment, but he's able to get out. Plenty of health. Yeah, if it gets interrupted, it gets a partial cooldown reduction. I think it goes down to 2 seconds. Seraphine ult not able to land on anyone. They do manage to really mess up Wukong's clone, but it's only worth 25 gold, and I think it despawned anyway. Dropped Rift Herald mid. Looks like it's a race for first turret. Will Rift Herald get it, or will the bot lane for Team Bourbon Nasher gets it? The bot lane for Team Bourbon Nasher gets it. The Rift Herald not quite able to finish off the turret. Looking to get a bubble as Kog'Maw and Wukong rotate over to drag, but it doesn't quite land. The bot lane from Bourbon Nasher is able to connect with the mid jungle of Bourbon Nasher. Looks like they start the drag. Ornn is in the area, has TP to answer top lane eventually, but he wants to be down here, let his presence be known, say, hey, if you do want to fight, I'm already here. It turns out they didn't want to fight it, and he walks back towards the top side. Sion able to get the Demolish proc, able to get top tier 1. Eric able to get the red buff. Tai notices that. Still walks towards the Krug's direction. Is able to get his E out before the Sion Q becomes a knock-up, so he's able to get out with his life. I don't know if they had kill pressure there. It is an Ornn, so probably not. Tai does get his E canceled by Sion Q, but nothing really is going to happen to it. Yeah, they probably don't have kill pressure just because Ornn. Well, they might have made his life a little bit more uncomfortable if his E wasn't able to do it. It was, though, so it doesn't matter. Gets the Bertolotto, Grasp auto proc. The damage goes into the shield, but the Grasp goes into our hearts. Eric being greedy, saying, hey, one red buff isn't enough for me, give me another. Vayne comes to collect the spare buff. And looks like we're looking at a little bit of a lull state. Baron is up, so if any team fight were to break out, it could lead into Baron, depending on how it goes. Dragon's not up for another 3 minutes. Nestcap able to land a Q onto Hernandez Teaches. They follow up a little bit there with a couple feathers. Nothing too extreme, but Hernandez Teaches is dropped to 60% health. Forced to play a little further back. Looks like they're rotating 4 for mid lane. They're really trying to crack this mid turret. Baron Wolf here for the mid turret. Flashes over the wall. Seraphine ult goes, lands on a couple people, but there is a black shield there negating it from Xayah. And Wukong flash over the wall with the ult knocking them up under turret as well. Meanwhile on the top side, Benson gets taken down by the Ornn. Says, hey, you're not Sion, I can kill you. How does Sion kill or Zoe die to Ornn? Really, it just, if you land that EQ by Ornn, you have a surprising amount of damage. And at this point in the game, Zoe should never be able to get through your health bar. So you are completely free to go forward. No, it's okay. I'm already making my life hard. I was struggling game 1 with champion names. Ooh. Don't know why, but I couldn't identify Syndra in my brain. Looks like they are able to get Scuttlecrab for Team IQ. Looking to set up some Baron Vision. Bubble does go a little wide. No bubble, no kill. Eric walks forward, trying to get a ward down, I'm assuming, but there's an Ornn in the bush. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, Kog'Maw is answering Rihi on... S-Coin is answering Sion. But Sion decides, hey, I pushed the wave. I'm going to go rotate closer to my team, help them clear some vision on the way, and I'll be back in bot lane when the wave reaches. Baron Wolf saying, no, you won't. I'm going to fight you. Is able to start doing damage to Sion after 2 rotations of spells. Thinks, hey, you know what? This will take way too long. I'm going to go clear my jungle instead. Tai walking forward. Gets a combo off on Eric. Able to escape the W from Aatrox. Big Wukong engage. Big counter engage from Seraphine, but that Wukong's already in there, already pressed R. It looks like they're looking to keep moving forward here. Sion landing the 2-man Q. Is it too late? It might not be too late. Great paddle star from Zoe. Kills the Kog'Maw. Oh, but Umbreon still in the back line. Does get hit by a bubble. We'll see if he goes down to Benson as well. Benson able to snipe another one. Able to stop that fight from being a total disaster. Great bubbles there that entire fight. Baron Wolf and Tai are able to survive, and looks like they might be setting up drag. Yeah, they're going to go for drag. He's pulling it out a little bit. Ornn TPing back in. It's important to make sure he doesn't stay right next to the wall, because there's the bubble hitting Baron Wolf. There's the paddle star hitting Ornn. Doesn't actually do anything. And red team able to secure drag. That is their 3rd drag. 5 more minutes and we have a soul fight. Baron Wolf, your spacing was kind of... It was. And that was a great engage over that wall. Just sending it, going, hey, I see enough of them grouped up here. I'm going in. I'm pressing R. Even though Seraphine had ulted you at that point, you were already in the back line. They were already knocked up, and yeah, did a lot of damage there. Ornn items coming out. I didn't notice, but there are already 3 Ornn items distributed, plus Ornn has his Ornn item. Yeah. Wukong's really good at knocking people up in team fights. Does it a couple times. AoE. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Ree just does not dodge, says, hey, spit all your damage into me. It's not going to make my health move. I'm clearing this wave. I love tanks. They're so fun. Ooh, Morgana Q through the wall, but there was a ward where Morgana was throwing it from, so I'm assuming he saw it and decided to back off, which ultimately could have saved his life there. It was a sneaky Q. Benson able to clear the wave, sleep the Ornn. Is it going to matter? Ornn is forced to flash. Uses his ult. Goes into Eric instead. Does a lot of damage there. Ease forward. Looks like his protoplasm did proc. He's still at full health. He's able to walk away. Did blow his flash, but survived the encounter. Ooh. Sion ult. Gets dodged by Xayah ult, but Xayah does go down. Was able to Q the Xayah without an ult. Baron Wolf, though, and Tai here to engage on the rest of the team. S-Coin able to do damage from the back line. Looks like they're turning on to the Sion here. Morgana ult. Just try to make Sion unable to move. Great re-engage. Even though their Xayah got caught out, they said, hey, we still have the damage to fight this, and they did. Baron Wolf takes a bubble and a paddle start to the face. Not feeling overly healthy, but healthy enough thanks to those fruit. And there is the last Ornn item being passed out, along with mid-tier 2. Looks like we got Dragon spawning in 1 minute 30 seconds. It is Soul for Team Bourbon Gnasher. And it is Ocean Soul, which will greatly help Wukong and Ornn in these fights. The other one's kind of squishy enough that even through Ocean Soul, they're probably able to get bursted from Zoe and Vayne, and even Aatrox with a well-placed Q3. But Ornn and Wukong will greatly appreciate it. Mind chat, this was a R5 Wukong. He was still up by R5. And he has been playing incredibly well this game. Same with S-Coin. Early Kog'Maw pick, I thought it was 80 carry, but that's a lot of damage coming out from their mid laner. Looks like the Vision Wars are happening. Vision Wars, 20 seconds left before drag spawns. Vision Wars are going the side of BN. They do have a 2k gold lead. I haven't checked the gold charts all game, and I'm not going to lock too much into them, but I'm going to show them here. S-Coin getting the blue buff so he can continue to spam his spells. Sion ulting forward. Looking to ult to create space. Does land a Q onto S-Coin. Bubble lands onto Ornn. Baron Wolf doesn't quite find the angle to commit, so he just clones and walks out. Big engage from Ornn. Doesn't get the R2 off. Eric in the backline trying to be disruptive, but he does get Morgana ulted. They're able to chase Kog'Maw out of the majority of the fight, but not able to kill the front line of Bourbon Gnasher. Bourbon Gnasher 4 for 0 and the Dragon. Benson wasn't quite able to get a bunch of snipes this fight. And that is Soul going towards the way of Bourbon Gnasher. Look, they're looking at Baron as well. This is where the sustain from Soul is very useful. S-Coin securing the Scuttle Crab. Saying, hey, give me the money. I saw that, taking that money from your AD carry. I love it. Hey, you're scaling. I see the angle. AD carries don't need more money. Their quest gives them more money. Let them figure it out. Alright, what's the plan here for Baron? Looks like they are opting into a 3-2. Well, Ornn and Kog'Maw both play in the middle right now since they don't have a wave in bot lane. Wukong pinging he's going to go top. Meanwhile, the rest of his team... So it looks like they're going to 4-1 with Wukong in the top lane. The rest of his team is one wave ahead, though. We'll see if they get punished here for walking too far forward without the Wukong. They do get collapsed on. There's a 4v4, but they just decide, hey, you can collapse on us. We're walking forward. This is our turret. Eric trying to go in. There's a Zhonya's and a Morgana ult stopping his engage. Ornn able to get the base off, drops his ult, lands it on S-Coin, at least the slow part of it. Does land a Q onto S-Coin. They aren't quite able to burst S-Coin. He will be able to sustain here with Ocean Soul if he's able to hit any enemies. Benson, a lot of damage coming out onto Nestcap. Looks like Eric 29 trying to get a couple Qs off, but they aren't able to kill, and if they don't kill, Ocean Soul is going to do a lot of work sustaining them back up. Wolf gets condemned by the Vayne, took major offense of that, and just flash ults the Vayne, says, no, now you're going to die. They're able to kill the Vayne, they're able to kill Eric on the Aatrox. Push forward here with Baron. Benson trying to get a kill onto Neskep here at the end of the game. Doesn't quite get it, goes down. Rihi trying to engage, doesn't quite get it. It's desperation engage. Ornn and Escoin finish off the Scion, and we're going to game 3. I think that's the first game IQ has lost all season. Game is over. Can you have your name back? Yeah, I guess there won't be a Scion in the next game, so I guess we can give you your name back. Looking at the gold lead, Team Zero IQ did have a little bit of a gold lead right here. I'm assuming a lot of that was on the Scion out pushing the Ornn, but once the major team fights started happening, Wukong was able to turn a lot of those fights, and they were just able to get a lead, hold on to it, and snowball it. Damage charts, some stats. I'll slow scroll my way through. Oh, very important stat I gotta check. Very important stat. Every time I play Kog'Maw, I always check this because I love doing true damage. You gotta get those true damage numbers up. Escoin, you gotta start dying more. That way you can get true damage Kog'Maw unlocked. But, you know, you played well, so we'll cut you some slack this game. And, yeah, let me change scenes real quick. Set myself up for game 3. While y'all can't see. We're back into the Scuff draft graphic. Oh, I gotta change the teams. BN opting for blue side. One, two, one. And here we go. Looks like jungle first pick by BN. Xin Zhao, great, strong pick. Answered by Sejuani. They know that there won't be a Trundle counter into it, so they say, hey, let's lock in the Sejuani right here. Sejuani Kai'Sa, great little combo. Sejuani is able to provide a lot of CC to help Kai'Sa get stacks off in those later game team fights. Looks like they do go for a Sona Ashe. It's not quite a Seraphine Ashe, but you know, if it can scale well, Sona is a late game monster. Xin Zhao with an Enchanter becomes a late game monster. Ashe is very good at enabling those kind of bruiser picks, because Ashe does struggle a little bit in the damage department later in the game normally. But does a lot of damage early and provides a lot of utility for the team. Looks like they answered with a Nautilus. Kai'Sa Nautilus, that's going to have to be an aggressive bot lane. They're going to have to get a lead, because if it gets to a late game death ball comp, I like my odds with Sona. Round 2 bans, we have an Akali ban, followed by a Jax ban on the side of BN, and then IQ Akali, BN Jax, IQ Swain, BN Sylas. Then they lock in the Naafiri. I'm assuming that's Naafiri mid, Sejuani jungle. Naafiri, I don't know too much about other than it terrorizes the jungle in solo queue. I'm assuming it's decent in the mid lane as well. I know that it was designed to be mid or jungle, so we will get to see what happens. Vex answer into Naafiri. I do like that answer in theory. Great against dashing champions. Naafiri has a lot of little dashes. If Naafiri tries jumping into you, Vex has that shield button that also can be an AoE fear if she has her passive fully charged. Singed blind pick up in the top lane answered by Kayle. Looks like we have two scaling champions up in the top lane. Singed does scale very well into team fights. Has a very wacky and exploitable laning phase, but you know, that won't matter as much into Kayle, who has herself a weak laning phase as well. So in overall scaling, I do like the side of Bourbon Nashor. If Sona, Singed, Xin Zhao are able to make it to late game, I think that they are going to be a threat. Meanwhile, if IQ ever gets a lead here, they should be able to snowball. I know they have the Kayle for late game teamfight assurance, but they don't have an enchanter to help buff the Kayle, and that's kind of what I think sets Sona a little bit apart there for the scaling. She's just able to apply those AoE buffs to everyone. But we'll see how the game goes. This is TyTy Singed. This is TyTy Singed. TyTy is... He's a great Singed. Slamurai saying he prefers frontline for Kayle. Generally I agree, but frontline, with Xin Zhao and Singed, they're able to bypass a lot of the frontline. You know, with Xin Zhao W into E, and Singed just running past and being hard to hit with CC. They do have some pretty good point and click CC options, but like Sejuani landing both parts of her W onto Singed later on in the game is pretty hard to do. And they don't really have melees that want to help apply Sejuani passive other than Nautilus, so really a lot of the CC will have to come from Nautilus root autos chaining into Sejuani CC. And if they aren't able to do that onto Xin, Zhao, and Singed, I think that they are going to be able to get onto the backside of IQ here in a later game fight. That being said, I do think if IQ ever gets a lead, they have a team to snowball and to just force that lead through and close out a game. So we will see what happens. Alright, good night, Baron Wolf. We'll be watching and judging your Xin Zhao performance without you. Objective timer's on. In-game going. And Hernandez starts the game off asking for a fist bump. Oh, you were saying goodnight to Eric. Oh, sorry, I didn't even read Eric's message. I just saw it was all caps and just, you know, stopped reading. Looks like Sion is caught out warding here. We'll see if that fourth auto lands. Fourth auto does land. Early first blood goes to Benson. It's not a great way to start the game. They do get Eric Flash, but I mean, I'll gladly trade a Flash early game for a kill. That's 400 gold, because First Blood gold is back in the game. So that is a longsword plus for Naafiri once she's able to go back to spend it. First hook does land onto Sona. Ignite goes off on Sona as well, but that's the end of their commit. Eric is here on the top side while TyTy is proxying already. We'll see if that turns into anything. The wave does crash under Rihi's turret. Rihi is forced to go back to try to collect the majority of it. Meanwhile, TyTy says, no, you're not ganking me. I'm ganking you. Turns it around onto Eric. Gets the kill right back. Looks like that first blood was answered by TyTy. Singed he's a wild champ. He's so weird. I've seen Singed get away with some of the most illegal stuff in League of Legends. Meanwhile, hook number 2 lands onto Nescap. Does force the flash this time. W snipe right onto Nescap. Down Sona goes. Mix swirl. Singes from Arcane. Bad chest. I love Arcane. Oh. Scion dodging the E with the untargetable, but Varenwolf is there, and they force out the Benson flash, stop the Benson full commit onto the Vex there. Benson is punished and goes down. And Scion, rightfully in Twitch chat, calls himself out for wasting flash. But you know, sometimes you just flash yourself, that way you have a constant timer on your enemy laner's flash. Meanwhile, Rihi looking to hold this freeze. Does manage to hold the freeze. Looks like he matches TyTy's reset on timing, but TyTy has a little bit more money to spend. Still a good reset. The wave is pushing towards Rihi with the 3 caster minions up. So TyTy will lose a wave. I'm sure Singed are used to, you know, randomly losing waves while they go set up proxies. I've seen some Singed skip waves, so he'll find a way. Meanwhile, Eric tries to gank bot lane. Varenwolf is there for the counter gank. Hernandez teaches flashes right onto the Sona. Says, no, you're not going anywhere. You don't have flash, and they're able to take down Sona. Kill goes to Eric. But Varenwolf says, no, you can't kill Sona for free, and they're able to turn it back, kill Nautilus, kill Sejuani also. But Varenwolf and Umbreon both go down to Caress. Caress, the only person living, now with double buffs. Melee range AD carry fight is right, but sometimes you gotta let him know neither of us are running, only one of us is making it out of here alive. Meanwhile in the top lane, TyTy has his proxy all set up. I think he sniffs the Sejuani in the area and says, nah, I'll die to tower instead. I didn't even notice that neither AD carry used summons, but you know what? They said, nah, this is just Fist. Let's go for it. We're at a little bit of a lull while Umbreon and Nuzcap are trying to finish pushing this wave in. They have to watch out for Nautilus hooks here. Ashe does still have flash, but Sona's still flashless, so if Nautilus hook lands, that is very scary for the Sona. Nautilus hook not quite landing onto the Ashe there. So they're able to successfully push the wave in. And oh, I didn't update the score? I thought I did. Well, at this point, in order to do that, I'd have to pause the game, close out of the game, and update the score. And I'm not going to do that, so it should say 1-1. Whoops. Alright. Kayle hitting level 6, uncontested. Thought I updated it. That's my bad. Sorry, chat. Oh, looks like Varenwolf trying to sneak into these bot side bushes here, going for that lane gank that he's used a couple times to great success. Meanwhile, in the top lane, TyTy doing Singe things, clearing the wave, bothering the enemy laner a little bit, and walking away. Eric, oh, never mind, not walking away, committing to a flash in there. Flash flip ignite with ult up, trying to kill the Kayle. Kayle is forced to ult. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Eric was in the enemy side jungle, and they all didn't appreciate that, so they were able to chase him out. Rihi does flash forward, knowing he's going to die to poison, and try to get that auto off onto Singe, but goes down before he's able to kill him. Oh, great hook from Nautilus, lands right onto Ashe. Ashe, though, since they both saved their flashes in that last fight, is able to get out. Strange Nautilus hook landing on the Ashe, who was partially around the corner, but, you know, the lollipop happens. Dragon goes down to blue side. The fight, though, looks like the fight is going towards red side. They're able to trap the Vex. Vex and Sona both have flash and are able to get out of the pit. Forced to flash, but Umbreon on Ashe and Xin Zhao both go down 2 for nothing. Drag goes the way of Bourbon Nashor, though. Looks like Benson and Caress both flashed as well that fight. There are not very many flashes up. It is only Nautilus and Xin Zhao who will have flash for a potential Grubs fight. Varen Wolf is looking to sneak into the top lane bush this time. Rihi still doesn't have ult up. Long cooldown on Kayle this early on in the game. Looks like Singed is trying to bait Kayle to go forward. Meanwhile, Eric sends a ult towards the mid lane. Goes a little wide, but Nautilus lands his hook onto Sion, and the CC chain is able to keep him still long enough for them to pick up the kill. In the top lane, Varen Wolf's gank not successful. Mid just play safe, yeah. He dodged one ult. Unfortunately, here comes a hook the size of the lane coming his way. Ashe E sending a UAV somewhere topside. And Grubs go the way of Bourbon Nashor. So far they have both of the objectives, but Zero IQ does have about a 1k gold lead. And we are still early on. Meanwhile, Tai tries to throw his goop at Kayle, who manages to avoid the majority of the slow. Does get hit for half a second, but able to step out of it pretty quickly. So not punished by the Singed, who is trying to mix, swirl his way through lane. Sion drops a ward onto the Raptor camp. They'll be able to see Sejuani when she eventually gets up there. Meanwhile, Benson gets his own ward onto the Raptor camp of Xin Zhao. So same thing the other way. Bot lane resets for IQ. We have about 2 minutes before the next drag. And a while before Rift Herald. We'll see if something happens. They're able to spot out the Sejuani invading Raptors. But with enough numbers, Sejuani and the red side just push him out anyway. Meanwhile, Singed engages onto the Kayle, who uses his ult, but the ult times out while Vex holds ult expertly to maximize the amount of damage. Meanwhile, though, Singed decided to go back in and gave Rihi a kill anyway. So it is a 1-for-1 in the top side. Benson engaging on Vex mid. Sejuani is there to help follow up. The Ignite able to get the last of it for Benson. Kill goes his way. Meanwhile, in the bot side of the map, a Sona ult lands onto Kai'Sa, who goes down to the Ignite from Sona. You know, this Nestcap has been running Ignite. Doesn't matter the champion says, no, I'm playing aggressively. We're going for kills. And it's been paying off this game. Meanwhile, Sejuani ult lands onto the Sona, who does not have flash to get away. But there is a Xin Zhao here. Sona goes down, but I believe Xin Zhao is going to be able to kill the Sejuani here. Tries to get onto the Ashe, not quite able to get it all the way onto her. Ashe is able to get a double kill and double buffs. Varen Wolf asking what his mid laner is doing. The answer is best. And Brown Moment asking what Stone is doing. Probably sleeping, but I also don't know. So I could be lying, and you'd never know. You might actually know that I'm lying, but I don't know that I'm lying. So I'm just going to continue to spread misinformation on the internet, because it's fun. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, looks like Dragon has spawned. A lot of vision here on the red side. Not too much vision for the blue team, but they do have a ward on the Dragon itself, so they're able to see that nothing's happening to it right now. Meanwhile, Rihi is able to hit level 11 at a very good state in the game. Oh, Stone is playing Hearthstone Battlegrounds. Great game. Great game. Meanwhile, Nestcap goes forward to try to ward, but there's already a Nautilus in a nearby bush. They engage onto Sona, who got out and then decided to walk back forward and dies. Meanwhile, now there's no peel for this Ashe, so Benson just hops right on him and says, hey, you're down too. Tai getting into the fight now. Looks like the Kayle ult is used to make sure Caress didn't go down to Singed Poison. Hernandez teaches shield, keeping him alive as well. And that is a great 3 for 0 going the way of IQ. Well, meanwhile, IQ also decides to commit to Dragon. Sejuani ulting the Xin Zhao to make sure he can't enter. Gets the Dragon, but Xin Zhao now on the Kayle. Kayle has no ult for this fight. Benson getting hit by the Sona ult. Kai'Sa getting one back at least, but does go down as well. Triple kill for the Vex. And Kai'Sa might have gotten 2 of those. 2 people died. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Sona there, but Sona went down. Very squishy champion. Jungler complaining about the mid laner stealing kills. I stand with the mid laner. Us solo laners need to stand together. Junglers don't deserve kills. Am I right, Sion? The top lane, Singe doing Singe things. Here to clear a wave. Not quite able to establish proxy. Trying to establish proxy though. Is he going to get there in time? Looks like he does. In the bot side of the map, though, Hernandez teaches does get caught out by Ashe, Sona, and Xin Zhao. They're just able to walk forward right onto the Nautilus and kill him. Benson ulting Sion. Sion trying to ult Benson, but that shot goes a little bit wide. Sion, though, is able to live the potential dive from Eric, so all's good in the mid lane for them. Team Bourbon Nash are able to secure first turret down in the bot lane. This has been a bloody fight. Both teams almost have the same number of kills as there have been minutes in the game. Now we are back to a little bit of a lull state here. Just a little bit of farming going on. Looks like lanes are being assigned. They're setting up for Rift Herald. Vex deciding to take that blue buff. Says out, that's mine. While Eric deciding, hey, let's establish push here mid. Shoves this in. And looks like they are rotating for Raptor Camp down in the bot lane. Three of them do answer that. However, Sona stepped a little too far up, gets ulted by Benson, gets ulted as well by Hernandez. Teaches, goes down, but they're able to take Benson down in revenge. Vex also goes down here. 2 for 1 over this Raptor camp. 2 for 2 over this 2 for 1 over this Raptor camp. Both mid laners going down, and Sona just stepped a little too far forward as well. Meanwhile, dive decides to happen in the mid lane. Eric thinking he can kill Xin Zhao in time, but Xin Zhao able to survive with the ult, stopping a lot of that range damage from happening. Ashe able to come in, slow the Kai'Sa, slow the Nautilus, kill them both on their way out. Oh, Tai. Oh, that ground not quite stopping the Kayle back, but he does manage to get onto the Sejuani with his ult. He does go down. Triumph barely saving him. Sona heals as well. Never mind. He goes down to Benson, who then ults onto Sona, but goes down to Ashe. Ashe, Xin Zhao, and Vex all jump right onto the Kayle, who was rotating over as well. Take her down. 3 for 1 going the side of Bourbon Nashor. Now Xin Zhao and Bourbon Nashor saying, oh, we got all those kills. Let's get Dragon as well. They're able to get tier 1 turret mid, and they're able to get Dragon, 2 dragons to them, 1 dragon to the side of Zero IQ. That's why the 0's there in the score. They were missing it from their name, so I decided to leave it in the score instead of updating the score to 1 and 1. It's all coming together. They were 1 IQ for a season, and then they lost that IQ at some point. Very tight game. About a 4K gold lead on the side of Bourbon Nashor right now. They've been getting Team 1 and Team IQ. And now we have, so 1 IQ existed as a fusion between Team 1 and Team IQ. Now we have Team 2 and Team 0 IQ. So we know where that extra IQ point went. Tai deciding, hey, I got grubs, I'm going for turret. Does get Nautilus ulted. Flashes away to try to buy time. Between the flash and the Singe W makes it very hard to get onto him. Able to walk away from that. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Sion able to land his ult onto Caress, who was left alone for just a little bit of time, and one-shots the Kai'Sa there through barrier. Bye-bye AD carry. Oh, fight over the enemy Raptors for Baron Wolf. Looks like with no AD carry, Team Bourbon Nashor decides, hey, let's start a Baron up. Let's see what happens. I see Rihi in the bot lane. I don't know if they clock that he has no TP, but it's coming up pretty soon here. They decide not to commit onto the Baron and turn onto the enemy team while they try to contest them. Able to take down Hernandez. Teaches. Now it's still a 4v5 here on a Baron play. To get right back on the Baron. Rihi still not channeling his teleport. Eric gets caught out by the Singed Goop. 2-man Sona ult lands onto the Sejuani and to the Naafiri. Naafiri able to untargetable at least the Xin Zhao slow. Rihi does get the turret down bot lane. Caress is able to escape with his life. Has been a great couple of minutes here for Team Bourbon Nashor, able to offset the death timings for Team 0 IQ. Really hate the Sedge build. You think Heartsteel's really bad? You know, I also don't like Heartsteel. I don't really know it's good in jungle, because I know a lot of junglers were still building it. I think they should, at the very least, try to swap over to Protoplasm. I think Protoplasm's a better item than Heartsteel, but yes, as Slamurai said in chat, Heartsteel is more fun because Clank. I guess Protoplasm or Bandle Pipes, yeah, if your team has good auto attackers, which in this case, Team IQ does have good auto attackers. But as Slamurai said, Heartsteel more fun because Clank. I don't blame anyone for wanting to build Heartsteel. I always want to build Heartsteel. It just does not give good stats. Love building it in ARAM though, because you get to hear the clank noise all the time. It's a great noise. Very satisfying item design. Looks like they're starting to set up Vision Wars here for next drag spawning in 45 seconds. San able to land his ult onto Caress again. Goodbye 80 carry part 2. Maybe part 3 at this point. Second ult does not hit anyone, so they're not able to continue forward. TyTy does have his free teleport to get over to this fight if given the chance, but they do have numbers, so they decide to play it. No TP being channeled. Big Nautilus ult, big Sejuani ult landing onto the backside of Team Bourbon Nashor. Looks like they're able to turn it. Singe does use his ult a little bit, gets there after a lot of the actions happen, but Xin Zhao is still alive, and so is Vex. So between those two and the Singe who teleports in, they're able to clean up and kill the other 3 that were alive. Only Nautilus able to survive. By 80 carry, yeah. Honestly, 80 carry. You are making Caress's life very hard this game with your Vex ults. I believe Singe flipped that cannon, made sure his mid laner didn't get it, said, nah, this one's mine. I TP'd. No, this is game 3. Sorry, Trevor. I forgot to update the score. But it works out because they're Team 0 IQ. They did lose a game. They dropped a game. It happened. Can't go into playoffs with a perfect record. They are down. Things are not looking good for them. They just lost Dragon. They got outplayed by some Baron dancing that occurred earlier this game. They're down 8k gold. And Caress has not been able to play the game for the past, 5-10 minutes. Just gets one shot by Vex. Sejuani saying, hey, you guys keep killing my AD carry. How about we try it on yours? They're able to take down Ashe. Sona ult lands on Sejuani, on all 3 of them. But there is a Nautilus ult onto the Sona in response. So Caress is able to kill the Sona. That being said, a couple teleports come in and everyone decided, yeah, we traded support for support 80 carry. We're happy with that. Meanwhile, some action happening in the jungle, but it doesn't amount to anything. Everyone's able to just walk away. Sion doing his best to speak bad things away from happening, but he might be caster cursing himself, so I won't read it out loud. Looks like we have Baron spawning in 90 seconds. 8k gold lead dropped to about a 7k gold lead. Rihi does get... Oh, Rihi doesn't get caught out. He says, no, I'm the danger, and kills the Vex. Big shutdown onto the Kayle at this point in the game. TyTy trying to get a little bit of extra damage, but I think he turned off his poison right before he flashed. Because no poison ticks actually went onto this Kale. Kale would have survived though, and Singed was forced to flash away. Varenwolf looking at Rihi saying, "Hey, you killed my mid laner. Come to avenge him," and is forced to flash, but does get the kill. And yeah, as someone in Twitch chat was predicting, Zion losing a 1000k bounty to the Kale because he ulted in during the Kale ult, so a lot of the damage got negated there. They are still in a good position with a 6k gold lead. Baron spawning. Kale is at 3 items. Sejuani about to finish the 3rd item. Naafiri 3 items and Grievous Wounds. 3.5 items. Just picked up the last Whisper. Press on 80 carry at 3 items. Nautilus 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 items. 2 items and 2 items and 3 components. One of them being Bramble Vest. Meanwhile, on the other side, we do have a 6-stack Medjai's and a 3.5 item Singed. We have a 3 item, including GA, 3.5 item, because Warden's Mail is a really good component. Including GA on the Xin Zhao. That's going to be a tanky Xin Zhao. We have 3.5 item Vex, 4 item Ashe, and 3 item Sona. Looks like they are all getting ready here for a fight again around the dragon as it spawns. Both teams having good neutral. Oh, actually, no, I lied. Zero IQ having a good vision set up for the neutral. Not able to push too far into Bourbon Nashor, but meanwhile, they decide to start the fighting, try to kill Varenwolf, who ults, negates most of the damage. Rihi did get caught out there, not able to press his ultimate to save himself. And with no Kale in the team fight there, the rest of the team just melts like butter. A lot of damage coming out from Team Bourbon Nashor. They win the fight. They say, hey, we don't need Soul. We're going for your Nexus. No Seekers on Kai'Sa at this point. It's criminal with how the game... Honestly, I didn't even see what happened to Kai'Sa in that fight. All I know is Kai'Sa probably got one shot. Which, yeah, that is how the game's been going. Kai'Sa was not able to play for a good chunk of the game. But Bourbon Nashor able to take the first series off of Team Zero IQ. No longer undefeated. Well played by them. Yeah. That is the first series loss for Team Zero IQ. Yeah, there's that gold lead once they hit that mid-game point. A lot of really good ganks and positioning from Xin Zhao. A lot of really good Vex ults that just made Kai'Sa's game unplayable this game. We'll look at stats. Get some other stats. Don't need to look at true damage because there's not a Kog'Maw in the game, so I don't care about anyone else's true damage. And yeah. Well done from Team Bourbon Nashor. I'll update the scores now for vibes. Bourbon Nashor with 2. IQ with 1. Well, Sion saying in the chat they needed a win, and that was a good win to get. Team Zero IQ was undefeated going into the series. Cannot say that anymore. The only undefeated team left is Team 2. And yeah, that'll be all from me today. going to sign off, but well done. Great games. And peace out.